Before we move on and look at top real-time interaction with processing, I do want to talk about one more command, and that's the pstree command. And what's nice about this command, it has the same function as ps in that it gives us a snapshot of what's happening, but it actually shows us in a hierarchical form. So for instance, if I type, let me get over here, if I type ps-aux or just aux and press enter, I get to see lots of information about processes. And actually this one it's not going to show me the parent, so let me do pse-ef here. If I look at this, I can see the parent-child relationship between the processes. So, the parent process was the kernel, the booting up process, and that started init, and then init becomes the parent of all other processes on the system, and I can see that. But pstree allows me to see that kind of view, but really where you see very clearly of what's going on as far as the tree goes. Now if we go all the way up to the top here, we can see here is init, and right here you see a fork where another process is spawned off from init, and there's many processes that are spawned off from here. And we can actually see the GNOME terminal I'm running, and from the GNOME terminal we spawn off bash, and then an instance of pstree is running here also. While I typically probably wouldn't use pstree for anything other than teaching purposes, it is a nice way to actually view what's going on here, and it gives you a real good idea of what it means to spawn off, to become a child of another process. So let's get out of here for a second. I'm going to start up that sequence command again. And I'll redirect it to our friend dev null and put it in the background. Clear that, and I'll type pstree again here, and this time I will, first we'll do a ps-l here to see the information about sequence. We can see that sequence, that's the PID of sequence, and here is the parent PID of sequence. But if I type pstree with the p option here, I can get that same kind of information. So there are the PIDs associated with that, and I'm looking for right here. Here we go. So here's the GNOME terminal is actually the parent of the bash environment that we saw. And here is pstree. We're running that command, and we actually spawned off another child process, and that's the sequence process. But you can see the hierarchy of how that's actually working, how things are spawned off. So here we have what's called a fork in the system, or a fork in the process tree, and that's when another child is spawned off. You can also just view, if you want to, you can type pstree, I think you can just put student in here, yeah, and you can just see the process owned by that particular user, for in this instance student. So pstree, a nice utility for actually getting a real visual of what's going on with the processes. Once again, it's still static. We're taking a snapshot and viewing it frozen in time at the time we actually took or ran the pstree command. Now we're going to take a look at top and see that real-time information.